Hi guys, so in today's video we are going to put together these Sunburst granny squares that I created using the Red Heart all-in-one granny square yarn. I believe I forgot the color name, excuse me. Trying to see if I have one around me here here we go. This is a brand new one here. It is the Black Carnation Code. I knew it had carnation something, but I couldn't remember the name because it's kind of weird. But anyway, we're going to be using those, and I created 4 of them. I created one in the tutorial, so I'll link that video in the description box along with any affiliate links, and those affiliate links would mean that I would make a small commission if you purchase items. Those links, really what I'm linking are just like the tools I'm using, because the yarn itself you can pick up at Joann. It might be other places now, I don't know, but the first few days of it being out, Yarn Inspirations and Hirschner's, I want to say. So I'll be using the 4 blocks. I'm just making a simple cowl. My blocks that I created end up being about 5.5 inches or so, almost 6 inches. I mean, if you block it, you'll probably get a good 6-inch block, which is nice, right? Because that's basically the size, supposedly, of what the yarn is supposed to create. But they're, you know, yeah, blocked 6 inches. For me, they're almost like 5.5. I don't really care. It's a cowl. Most cowls you want it to go over your head, kind of like a hat size, but a little bit bigger, obviously, over your head, and then kind of nice and comfy on your neck. So I figure I would need at least 4. So if you're thinking, if these are 6 inches, let's say roughly, that's 24 inches around. So that's pretty good. You want like 22 to 24 inches. So that's perfect. Mine's going to be a little bigger than that because I'm going to do a join as you go, just like I did in the last video when I made the balaclava cowl. And I'm going to bring out some color from here. What's funny is I was looking at this, I thought, oh, I love coral colors, and I had just picked up this coral. Even though it's a different brand, it's similar. The texture of this yarn is very different from this, but that's okay. And it's a similar coral, right? I mean, that's not too bad. Of course, Red Heart has their own coral, and I have tons of that too, probably out in a tub in the garage because I like this color, and I know I have their coral because I've used it in a project before. But I'm just going to go with this one since it's here and I just picked it up the other day. So we're going to have those 4. We're going to join as you go, and then I'm going to do some fake ribbing. And I say fake ribbing because it's crochet. It's not really ribbing. I mean, it'll kind of come in a little bit, but it's not really like knit rib where it actually, you know, purl 1 or knit 1 or purl 2, knit 2 kind of ribbing, but it'll look cute, I think. So that's what I'm going to end it with on this one. Last time I did a little picot and some other things, but this time I think we're just going to do a double crochet ribbing, and wish me luck. I hope it comes out just fine. And the whole edge I'm going to do in the coral. It might be a lot of coral now that I think about it. It's going to be in the center here and then the ribbing, but you know, you can change up your colors or choose something else, whatever it is you like. Maybe we should do half double crochet ribbing. I don't want it to be too much. We'll see when we get there. My goal right now is double crochet ribbing, but you need to start with a row of double crochet. I don't really want to double crochet the ribbing into these guys, even though you could. You need to use the posts. I rather just do a solid round of double crochet or half double crochet, whatever it is that we end up doing for the ribbing, okay? Just have a little something decorative on the edges. So I have my 4 squares, my blocks. I do need to sew in my tails, and I guess one thing I didn't mention is, why am I trying to do other blocks with the granny, you know, all-in-one granny square yarn? It's because you only have to weave in the 2 ends, and that's fun. So with this one, I'll probably get them prepped just so I don't have to do it later. This is how it started, and I kind of went ahead and did my work around it, of course, as I was first, you know, after my chain 4 and the join, I just kind of would trap the yarn underneath there. So for this one, oh, I didn't mean for that to drop off. I just finished it up. I want to show you something real quick. So I talked about in the last video, see, if I just go like this, the hole's kind of large. You can definitely tighten it and make it a more tight like that. Whatever it is that you want, whatever feels comfortable and natural. I'm just going to go a couple more stitches out this way, and then what I try to do is go back the other direction. Now you can make like a little knot here, like if you catch one of the stitches from underneath, like just in here, and go through it and then make a knot, that'll help too to be a little more secure. But we did start off with a chain that's also tied up, so this shouldn't slip out. But I'm going to go back in the other direction, try not to split the yarn. I did it there again. Go back in the other direction and give it a clippy clip, and that one is done. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew in the rest of the ends. These guys are like pink. That's just how it ended up being. It's going to be a little more noticeable, but you know, I am going to come in and do more granny squaring, so you can possibly cover this up with the next rounds that you're doing, but otherwise I'm just going to kind of bring it in here. It's kind of a bummer because, again, the color of this is very noticeable. I'm trying to think, I'm going to do some granny squaring in here, right? So maybe it's better just to go in here and make a little knot and then just kind of get rid of it at that point. I'm just making another knot. We're going to granny square over this anyway, so I think that will be okay. Hope I didn't untie that. Okay, so I just went around a few times and kind of tied it up. I'll get rid of that whenever we actually do our granny square on top of that, because we are going to granny in here with the coral. Okay, so we're going to do that. Sneak peek at some other squares I came up with. Look at this, you guys. I literally had a migraine and I felt like I was going to just I'm gonna say a puke after I was done with this, because I was just like pulling this out, going back, pulling it out. Okay, that's too big. Okay, this is too small. I have a whole blanket of this kind of square, and I mean, it took me forever to create. So I'm super familiar with just making these little flowers, and I just remembered in my mind that you have your center, it spools off the center like a little wheel, and then you're going to create your petals. And the way I created mine was I had to begin with single crochets, because there's such a small amount in the beginning here that it didn't work if I used like a bigger center, like if I was to go with like double crochets like this. So I had to do single crochets, and then I did a little bit of chaining just to make it look cute and flouncy. And then the next layer, I always remember that you have to start with something short, something tall, something short, just so that you can get a petal shape. So I did that, and I'll tell you what those some things are in the video. And then the next layer, again, a couple things that were short, a taller one, you know, a couple shorter ones. So that's what came up with the third layer of the flower. And then we had to start squaring it, because that's generally what you do. You want to make it into a granny or to a square, something that you can use. I guess you can do circles, but I did this one initially, and then I had a different background. I already did a short video on this, you may have seen it. I liked the way the background looked better, but it just was not looking nice in the back. There was a big ridge, and I was like, how am I going to get rid of that? So I tore all that out, and I just grabbed the whole this round in between the posts, just so that it can kind of hold it. So it looks interesting, right? It has like a weird kind of look to it here. And then I finished it off to make it square, because from the roundness you need to square it up. And then I did a single crochet, I think, at the end on this one. This was the first one I did. This was the second one that I came up with. Actually, I had done this one, and I did this one, then I tore this one back and redid that fourth round. On this one, I did a picot. You just don't see it. It's in here, because then I had to use it, so I had to actually dip into it, so it has a really different kind of look in the background. This is the best I could do to use up the yarn at the variegation that they have and everything, and I think it came out really cute. The flower at least did. The backgrounds I'm still kind of working on. They're both the same size, which I thought was very interesting, even though they have different treatments. And so when I make this tutorial, it's probably not going to be this weekend because I'm running out of time. We're going out of town and all that. So last hurrah before the kids go back to school. So I will definitely come back, and if I have time, then I'll do both endings so you can see what this looks like and also what this one is like. I don't know. Again, I liked what I did before. It's just I had to get rid of this bulky weird thing it had in the back the way I initially did it. So that's what I came up with. Lots of fun things, guys. Do what you can, do what you like. Don't do it at all, you know, whatever. I'm gonna go sew in the rest of these guys and then tack these other ones in so that they're ready for when I do come in with the granny, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I got those prepped, ready to go. Again, I just tacked those down. They're not in any way finished. Okay, so again, we like to pull our yarn from the middle of the skein. There's always one on the outside. At least I do that. You know, you can do whatever you like. If you pull it from the outside, it's just going to be like moving around the whole time. But there you go. Okay, so just like last time, we're going to begin the join as you go. I'm just going to add in my yarn. And I'm still using the eye hook, so it's big and flouncy. If you want to change out your hook, I suppose you can, but it'd be weird because you reuse the eye, possibly, right, when you're making your granny squares from the Red Heart All-in-One, and it just will give you a different tension. But I already pulled up a loop. I'm going to count that as number 1 because it's pretty big. 1, 2, 3, even though it's from here. You know, just gauge it as you like. So if you like to pull up 3 for your double crochet, or 2, whatever it is you like. And we are doing double crochet since we've been doing... Well, in this one, actually, we did some different things, but mostly we did double crochet here. So I'm just going to take that guy and do 2 double crochet in that corner, And I like to start in the corner since we are starting with another, a whole other skein, you know. And then I'll chain, what were we chaining before? 2, were we chaining 3 or 2? I don't remember. I should have written this down. It looks like 2. So I have 2 there, and I'm going to, again, just, oopsie, go ahead and yarn over and do 3 more double crochet. So that's our corner, and I did change it for this one because this square is a little different from the original granny square that comes from the red heart. I came up with this myself. I did chain 2, it looks like. Hopefully that's correct. And so I'm chaining 2 here. So when we go to attach it, it's going to be a little bit different than we did in the previous video. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, so chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2. So on this one, we're just grannying it just like anything else. We're not doing anything funky. We're not bringing anything in. So chain 1, 3 double crochet cluster, and the next chain 1 space from the previous round. And like I said, I'll link the video for this specific Sunburst, but you can make these things yourselves. It doesn't have to be from the red heart. It doesn't have to be anything. So chain 1. You can do this with any granny square that you have. You know, I would say between 5 and 6.5 inch granny square. If you're going something smaller, maybe you're going to make a couple of them. Like for the 4-inch ones, maybe you want to put one and another one and make it a row of however many times, you know, 2. Just lots of fun ways. That's why I'm telling you, I haven't even done this specific cowl in my mind. I'm just like, I'm going to join these and I'm going to do a ribbing end. So we will get there when we get there. I haven't really planned that out or thought about that too much. Chain 1, we're at the next corner, so we're going to do 3 double crochet, 2 and 3, and then of course chain 2, and then 3 double crochet again. So chain 1, chain 2. And if you want to make it exactly like what I have, you saw the name of the yarn. This is the Big Twist, I believe, from, oh, this is from Joanne, right? Dark Coral. And so we chain 2, so now finish off our corner. So I'm not going to bore you guys, because if you're at this point, you know what you're doing. So I'm going to finish this corner and then go ahead and, you know, chain 1. Look how pretty, and it is similar to this. It's not exactly the same. I mean, on camera I can see a big difference than in real life. It's a little more pumpkin-y on the camera. It looks, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off as a granny, you know, chain 1, 3 double crochet, 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 then do the corner work and then come down and around. So you need one that's basically complete. I'll be right back, guys. So I just finished that up. Again, we have that yarn end from before. I'm going to leave that for now. So I just did my last 3. I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to attach it to the top of our beginning chain, which, if you're not sure how to count those, but you can see this is a double crochet before the space, a double crochet. Double crochet has like its own little like loop. It almost looks like a C right here, right? It's not either one of those. It's the one before those. So there you go. If you're not going to count them or whatever, you can just kind of see which one it is. And unfortunately, you do have to break this off. Like, in my mind, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to just start it off and maybe turn it around. I don't know. I don't like turning. I want the front facing of my work, the pretty side always facing me. And I guess I should have mentioned that at the beginning also of the tutorial. Sorry, guys. So front side always facing like this. We're going to cut this guy off. And we'll have to weave that in. Again, that's part of the granny. And I was even thinking, like, my own pattern. Oh, guys, I just got a message. I was working on this, and I went to sit at my TV and watch TV, maybe have a YouTube video in the background, because I have to have lots of stimulation here. And somebody had left a comment, Craft Harlot, which is just a funny name. Thank you. She says, I love it. She says, oh, thank you. You know, like, basically that she had been struggling so much with the granny square from the Red Heart, you know, pattern. She said, thank you for this video, that she finally got one that worked. And she was talking about this Sunburst one, and I'm like, that is the best thing I could hear. I mean, honestly, she made my day. I'm like so happy about it, because when I designed this, what I was thinking of is, how can we maximize the rounds, right, the colors, but also maybe I stitch differently than you do. How can you get this same thing successfully done? And so there is a little bit of fudge factor worked into pretty much each round. So that's the best thing I could have heard. I'm super happy. Same thing with this. I'm telling you, these colors just hit boom, boom, boom. And then there's some extra in the back, because I don't know if you ever made these kind of flowers, you have to kind of go and back post and do all this weird stuff. And so some of the color that continued, like let's say the burgundy, is behind and you don't see it. So it doesn't matter because it's set up the next round. So like it just works so well. And so that is like the best thing I could have heard. So thank you so much, Craft Harlot, for letting me know. Try them out, guys. I need that feedback because honestly, if it works for me, I don't know if it works for everybody, you know, but I'm trying to design these so that they'll still work for you guys, regardless of how you stitch. Okay. So we are going to join as we go. So now this is where the fun starts. Again, with this one, you can start wherever you like. I'm going to go ahead and join this. And, you know, in the last video I did show you, you can just start joining. But I like to do a whole round or even a couple of rounds before I really join it, just so I have some sturdiness. So, you know, whatever it is you want. But I'm going to go ahead and go into this corner and slip stitch that guy in there and then leave that end there, and then I counted that as 1, 2, so I'll have 3. I'm kind of holding this because I'm going to do 2 double crochet, and again you're kind of weaving in that end as you hold it, if you hold it on the edge here, so you can kind of trap it as you're working. It's not really woven because it's just there, but anyway, chain 2, and then my last 3 double crochet here before I move on. I'm going to do a whole row, just this left side, or you know, whole side, and I'll meet you as far as the joining. That's one thing I will say about this yarn. It's very kind of wants to come apart. I don't know how to explain that, but anyway, so I'll do my 3 double crochet here. Try not to catch that. Okay, chain 1 and all that, and when I get to this corner I'll meet you and we'll attach it to this one. Okay, we're back at the corner, and so what I'm going to do is, I have my chain 1, I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 double crochet, little granny cluster, and then I'm going to chain 1 because that's what we did before. We chained 2, but I'm only going to chain 1 because my other chain 1 is going to be accounted for when I attach it here. So again, just going in the front, go into your corner, right in front. My yarn is kind of back here. I'm going to go right in front. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull that loop up and through the loop that's on my hook. And now it's attached, and that accounted for our next chain 1. So now I'm just going to yarn over and do my last 3 double crochet cluster. So in the last video, I chained 1 again because I had chained 3 spaces, but since I have chained 2 spaces, we're just going to chain 1, attach it, that counts for the second chain, and then just keep going. So now I'm going to chain 1. I just finished up that corner, and it basically looks like the other corner. And since we're chaining 1, oh, did I say chain 1? You guys, sorry, back it up. No chain 1. No chain 1 here. We're attaching. So you're always omitting 1 chain. So if I only have 1 chain, that means I'm not doing it, right? So I'm going to put it right in the front, in between that chain 1 gap from the previous granny. Pull up that yarn, pull it through my loop, and go into my 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space on our working granny. So 1, 2, 3, no chain 1. We're just going to go into the next space, attach it. I'm going to go a little quicker in this video because I feel like I spent a lot of time in the last video. I didn't realize the video was going to be an hour and a half, but you know, start to finish in balaclava, I pretty much hung in there with you guys almost on every round and everything. So yeah, no chaining. We're gonna go in here, the next gap, pull up your loop, pull it through the loop on your hook, 3 double crochet again. I need to pull up some yarn. I'm just gonna stay with you to the end of this one, and then we'll probably not for the rest of them because again, it's all the same. There's 1 double crochet, 2 and 3. And we'll go in the next one, pull up our yarn. And so sometimes with crochet, honestly, you just have to, what I call fudging it, but it's just like you make it work. Whatever you do, do it the same every time though, so that way it's a little more uniform, so your work's not all scattered, you know, all over the place, because you did this one this way and this one this way. So in the front, pull it up, do my loop, and now we're back at the corner, so 3 double crochet, ending with a chain 1, and then an attachment, right? So 1, 2, 3, oopsie, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then this is the front, obviously right in here, in that chain 2 space, we're going to put our hook, pull it up, through the loop on our hook, and you can adjust if you need to. And then we're just going to continue finishing the 3 cluster on this opposite side. 1, 2, 3, and now we're working down this bottom edge or whatever you consider at that point, but look at that. If you pull it apart, it looks something like that, but there you go. And all this will straighten out later. And there it is. So I'm going to continue just like I did in the last videos. I have another video, a whole blanket that I did with the join as you go. But I'm just going to continue my granny and continue it on this side and finish it up because it's going to be just granny. We're not attaching anything else at this point. I'll be right back. So here we are back at the end. I just chained 1, and again we're going to attach it to the top of your beginning chain. If you do chain 2, chain 3, whatever it is, but just attach it to the top of your beginning chain there, and go ahead and cut that one off, pull it through, and that's ready to be sewn later. So right now we have essentially these 2 together, and we want 4 of them at least. I mean, if you want to do 5, go for it. I had 4 blocks ready to go, and I feel like the length or the size of this is going to be perfect already. So 5 will make it much bigger. I would love to do like 8 or 9 and then wrap it around twice, or you know, 2 rows of like 8 or 9 or whatever it might be, that long but 2 thick, and then you can even put it over your head like a snood kind of Wednesday Addams kind of thing. I thought that was really cute too. So same thing with this one. I'm going to start it off just like I did the patch I just did. I'm going to do a whole granny side, and I'm going to attach it down this way and then finish it off just like we did, and then the next one too. So when I come back, again, I don't want to belabor it too much. It's exactly the same thing. You can just go back in the video and see it's exactly the same. I'm just going to put this in here, and I know I like to say more than less, but you know, I'm going to pop this in, get that guy going, do my whole chaining up here, and my cluster here in the corner, your granny, regular granny kind of stuff going on here, and then go up the side with my 3 cluster, chain 1 until I get to the corner, and then just add it to the corner. So 1, 2, 3, just like we did in the last little frame here. I'm just going to continue regular granny, and when I get here, we're going to do half of our corner, chain 1, stick that hook down in the front here, attach it, and then keep going all the way down and around, and same thing with this one. It's exactly the same. I'll be back. Sorry about that. So I just realized I told you I'll do the last 2 the exact same way. That's not quite the case. We need to attach the last one to make your tube, right? To make your cowl. So I already attached the 3rd one, same way that we attached the 2nd one, exactly the same way. For this last one, we have to attach it on this side, and we also have to attach it, to make our tube at the end of this side. So I'm going to start off by starting with the corner, okay? So let me get the end of my yarn, and we're going to go ahead and begin, and you can do this different ways, wherever it is that you feel most comfortable. I'm just going to start it here in the corner, and again, just like we did before, so I will chain 3 basically, or 2, however you like, and then 2 double crochet, and then we're going to go right away and attach it. If you work up one side, you can do that. It's just you're going to have to work it in a funny way, so I just rather do it this way, but whatever is more comfortable for you. So chain 1, and we're going to have the right side facing, the nice side, the pretty side, not the side with the little wonkiness. Again, we're always working on the right side, at least I am. Right inside that chain 2 space, pull up your loop and go through loop on your hook. And then again, just as we've been doing, we're going to go ahead and granny, finish that corner. Try to mind your loops, because whenever you're attaching, I feel like, at least I do, I stretch this and it's got a bigger stitch than what was done previously, so just keep that in mind. Again, we're not chaining 1. I'm just putting this in a way so hopefully you can see it, so this is kind of balled up here. I do have a loose end here that I will just trap, so we're not chaining 1, but I'm going to go in here into that chain 1 space from the previous granny, the one we're attaching, and then go through your loop, and then go ahead and do your 3 double crochet in your working granny. So now it's basically the same. At this point, we're doing the same stuff that we did before. It just doesn't start off with a row that's already done, you know, or an edge that's already done. It's just easier to attach it this way. So skip, not skip, but go into the next chain 1 space, attach it, go through your loop, and do your 3 double crochet. All right, so this is the same as when we attached it previously. So I will be right back when I get to the corner. Okay guys, I'm back on my corner. I just attached it here, so I'm going to go ahead and go and do my 3 double crochet into this corner. 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to attach it to the corner just like we did before. So chain 1 right into this front in that chain 2 space from the corner through the loop on your hook, and then coming around the corner, going to do our 3 cluster to finish off that corner, and then we're just going to granny as normal along that bottom edge just like we did on the second block when we attached the second block. So right now it looks like this, kind of like a loose one here that we're going to catch at the end, and then we're just going to granny across here. So chain 1 because we need the chains now, and then our 3 double crochet granny cluster, 2 and 3, and chain 1, and then again 3 right here. So I'll continue till I get to the corner, because now we're going to attach that other side to this other end so we can make a cowl, right? So I will be right back. My corner, I did my 3, I did my chain 1, and I'm going to go ahead and start my first corner cluster. So 1, 2, and 3. And when I was younger, I was always afraid to just come up with things on my own. Chain 1, we need that. But I encourage you to, because, you know, you'll find your way, and then, like I said, if something's not quite right, you just kind of make it look right, you know, those kinds of things. And I was always like, no, I need the pattern, I need the pattern, I need to read it off, I need to mark it off, and now it's just like, okay, let's just go for it. And, you know, with certain things, it'll work out. Okay, so we did the 3, I did my chain 1, and now I'm bringing the right side. This is the wrong side, so the wrong sides are facing, right side is out. We're going to go into your corner, just like you've been doing, right in front. Get your yarn, pull up your little loop, and go through the loop on your hook, and finish your 3 double crochet. So in the working granny, right on this side. So 1, 2, and oh, I'm telling you, this yarn is super splitty. Okay, 2. I don't know if I mentioned this. I wanted this to try it out in my knitting machines, and they do not like splitty yarn, so we'll see what happens. We're not chaining 1, because now we're just attaching up this side, just like we did before. So just coming up this side. So chain 1 space, pick up your loop, pull it through the loop that's on your hook, and get ready to do your granny cluster in the working granny. So 1, 2, and 3, and no chain, just put it in there, grab that, attach it to the next chain 1 space in your previous granny, and now back to working granny. Okay, so same thing, it's just now we're attaching it as a tube, but you're doing essentially the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, and again no chain 1, I'll attach it here, and I'll meet you back at the corner. So now we're back at the corner, and you can see we have our little tube here. So corner, 3 cluster, 1 more, hold on. I have Miranda over here trying to scare me. She woke up and I thought I heard her footsteps, and she didn't respond when I called her, and now she's here. So we did the chain 1. You have this corner from the previous granny. You're just going to go right into it, into that little space. This one's a little bit tricky because it's kind of in a funky spot here, but just help yourself out and grab that, and finish off your corner cluster. 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. And now we are going to chain 1, because all we're going to do is finish up this side like a regular granny, and then we're just going to attach it here, slip stitch into your first, you know, chain 3 or whatever. So chain 1, cluster, chain 1, cluster, chain 1, cluster, you know, all the way down. So I will be right back. It's just the same thing. We're just grannying here. This is my last chain 1 space. I just moved my 3. I'm going to chain 1, and at the top of our beginning chain, just going to slip stitch right in there. Now I'm not going to cut it off because at this point we can start doing our edging if you're going to do edging. Otherwise, you know, whatever, I guess you're done. But let me pull some of these threads back, these yarn ends. I'm going to go ahead and tuck all these guys away so they're not confusing and in my way as I work. But yeah, so now we're just going to go in for our edging, and that'll be that. These guys can actually be cut off already. If you guys remember, I tacked them down, so I can just kind of cut those off. See how it's kind of like rounded here and then better here. So obviously if you're blocking, you're going to get a better look, you know. I haven't decided if I'm going to go into half double crochet or double crochet. Let me see how this fits over my head. Oh, that's so cute. It's on my neck right now. I really like that. It's easy to do. What I was thinking of, if I don't do half double crochet rib, is just changing out the needle size, the hook size, maybe something smaller so that the rib is actually a little smaller than what this is. So this is an I. Hope I mentioned at the beginning, I'm just using the same needle, hook that I've used throughout all these projects. So it's a 9/0 or 5.5 millimeter. I'm gonna go grab an H hook, so it's 5 millimeter, okay? And that's what we'll do. I like this coral, so I think it'll be pretty. And then we're probably gonna do 2 rounds of rib. So it's gonna be, an inch or so taller at the top and the bottom. But let me go grab the H hook and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so as I mentioned, I went to grab a smaller hook. Funny enough, like I told you, the hooks, this one says G, but it says 5.0. A G is like 4 1/4, 4 1/2. I mean, even at that, that's fudging the numbers. A 5.0 should be H. I don't know why it says G. You can look it up. And then like this one, these are the ones that are, the ones I have linked in the description box are a set that I have. I just didn't bring it out, so I just grabbed things as I need them. But that one is labeled correctly and the sizes are right and the letters right. But again, that one has like G 5.0. This one doesn't have letters, but this is 9/0 5.5. It depends on if it's European sizing, US sizes, sometimes even sizes from like what you would consider Latin America, I guess, are different. So anyway, you want to get a 5.0 because we just came from a 5.5. So hopefully, I mean, you can kind of see the barrel, and I also have a little gauge thing where you can pop it in there and then you can see, the size. If you don't know how to use those, it's just like a little template that has a bunch of holes, and you just pop it in there, and this should fit in there super snugly, right at the barrel, not just like at the very beginning or this little stuff, at the thickest and part of your barrel, this part, not this. Either way, okay? So anyway, we're gonna use this one, and again, we didn't take it off or anything like that. We didn't end our yarn, and I am so sorry. I don't know why the lighting is like so yellow green. It really bothers me. Ugh, I try to fix it in editing, but you can only do so much. Okay, so this is just where we happen to be. We're at the top of our chain 3, and I already slip stitched in there, so I mean you can slip stitch in there again if you want to just be right in the center. We're just basically gonna make double crochets. So, well, that's what I'm wanting to do. Remember I said maybe we'll do half double crochets, but okay, I'm gonna chain 2, and that's gonna count as our first double crochet. So I'm just gonna double crochet into each double crochet, and you should find them all around, and each chain 1 space will make a double crochet because we need to finish those guys up. So chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We only have 2 double crochets left, so 1, 2. This is a chain 1 space basically where we attached it to the other guy. So in every chain 1 space we'll put in a double crochet. I'm going to skip this area because there's nothing really there. So I was just finishing putting that double crochet in there, right in that chain 1 space. So if you look at this next, we have this area, and it's really big, and there is a space there, but we don't really want to go in there. We're just going to try to keep it as symmetrical as possible. So if this one is in the actual chain 1 space, then the next one's going to go on the opposite side in that same space. You don't really want to put it in here because now you're going to add one, but you can. I mean, it doesn't matter. But whatever you do the same thing each time. That's always, whatever you choose to do, however you choose to finish things, or as you're crocheting, always do it the same way, okay? So if you're going to put one here now, you're going to put one there later, But for now, I'm not doing that. I'm putting in the chain 1 space before the hookup and then one right after. And now we have 3 double crochets. So put the double crochet right on top, and this is super easy, guys. If you've ever been doing any of the tutorials I've been doing or showing, then you know what you're doing. So there's 3, right? Double crochets one right on top of each one. Now we have a chain one space. We're going to put a double crochet in there. And then we have our 3 double crochets again. So one right on top of each one there, one in the middle one in the end, and back to a chain one space, and we're just going to put a double crochet in there. And we're not grabbing anything, you're just going into the space, okay? So we're going to continue that all the way around. So 3 here, 1 here, 3 here, 1 here, you know, 1 in each, so I'm just saying 3 here and here, and we're back at this. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1 in the chain one space, skipping over our little junction here, 1 in this chain one space, and then 1 on top of each of those 3, right? So all the way around till we get back to the beginning. We're going to do the bottom the same way. Obviously, you're going to turn it like this and do the same thing. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and go across all these guys, and then when we come back, we're going to do front post and back post so it looks like ribbing. So we are using a smaller hook to bring it in a little bit, and we're also going to make some faux ribbing. So I'll be right back. So I'm back basically at the beginning, which for me was just in here, right? Just wherever you're at. It's fine. Probably be the same spot if you're following along. We have our last 3 double crochets. Don't forget there's a chain one space here, so go ahead and double crochet in there. Now we're going to start our pattern, and I'm trying to do this to explain it easily, okay? So if there's other things that you know when you're joining something in the rib, you know, in a circle, and you're joining it and you want to do something funky, maybe start behind here, go ahead. Right now, I'm just gonna make it easy. So we're gonna join our slip stitch at the top of our chain 3. Our first one was a chain 3, if you guys recall, right here. So just slip stitch in there. Now, we're going to do front post and back post. So working in the front, working in the back, working in the front and back, and that's what makes the rib look. So right now, to be honest, I can, if I wanted to, see I'm connected here, I can kind of get in behind here and pull this in and then do my chains just to start it off that look of front and back post, but you can also just chain 3 and go from there, or chain 2, whatever it is that you're doing. So I can't remember if I chain 3 or chain 2, and I said chain 3, didn't I? Whatever you're doing, do it the same every time, okay? Whatever you like. So we're gonna go in and start doing front and back posts. So and they're double crochet. So yarn over, we're gonna go in here. So the post, the whole post, that's what they're called, posts. I couldn't remember from earlier, I don't know why. Go right inside, like from behind it. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and then finish your double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Next double crochet is behind, and for some reason I always like, in my mind, I'm like, what? I can't. So right now we went like this, right? In the front like this. But now what we're gonna do is go from behind and bring it this way. So you think it's the same, it looks the same, but it isn't because it's behind the post here. And now we're gonna go behind, but you're gonna bring it in front. So go ahead and pull up your loop because we're doing double crochets and finish your double crochet. So chain, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over, we're gonna do the next one, which is gonna be in the front. So in the front of our work, you're gonna go behind it. And of course, now that I'm saying this, just because I know how to do this, I'm like, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing for front and back, but it doesn't matter. So yarn over, and again, from behind our work, like put it behind, pull up your loop, 2 loops, 2 loops, yarn over, we're gonna go in the front of that post. And yarn over, and we're gonna go behind, right? We just did that one, so we're going from behind in front, bring it out. And sorry, I have a lot of laundry going out of town. So yarn over, front post, and yarn over, behind. I don't know why every time I go to do this in my mind, my mind's like, no, what are you doing? It just seems weird because you think it's the same thing, but it's not. Okay, and we can take a look, and I don't know if you can see what's developing here. It's hard to tell with this one, especially because it's kind of loose, but you're starting what looks like a rib pattern, but it's just fake, okay? So it's just a little something like this, okay? And it'll be more apparent, I think, once you, there you go, maybe that's better. You can see the front and the back there, and I just did behind, right? So front, and we're gonna go around the whole thing just like that. So let me get some more slack here. So that was in front, yarn over, behind, yarn over, in front, and you want to make it a little bit snug because you want that ribbing to really show. Yarn over, from behind. I probably was doing a little too loosely at the beginning because I was just kind of really wanting you guys to see what we're doing. Ah, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna go around the whole thing, alternating from in front and then behind there, and I'll be back. Around, all around. I think there are 100 stitches, so basically 50 in front, 50 in back, but see, it's looking good. I'll be back. Okay, so I am very much at the end here, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, but obviously we have to attach our yarn somewhere. So again, front post, back post, front post, and I am back at the first chain. You can see it looks different from like everything else. And so I'm just going to attach this with a slip stitch, and that's it. Now, you know, again, if you want it more stylized, you can do something different. I don't know, whatever that might be, but there it is. And I think I'm just gonna do that because that's already enough of this coral color for me for this project. But you could have switched out the colors also. I mean, whatever it is that you like. So, like I said, I just pull that a little bit, let that disappear more. Okay. So that is that. Now, if you continue going, it'll be more obvious, the rib pattern. And generally what you're doing with ribbing is you do your thing, you turn your work, you know, you go up the other way, right? When you're not working like in a circle or in a spiral or however in rounds. And then you still do front post, back post, because now what was the back post is the front post, right? So you're always putting the posts right on top of each other. Anything that's front, anything that's back. So if it's forward like this too, the next time do forward also. If you're going to do more of this, you would just continue. With this case, it would be front post, back. It doesn't matter. It's the same because you're always going to still be making front posts and back posts on top of each other. So I'm going to weave that in, of course, and then on this side, I mean, I can start probably in the same area, just to keep it the same so that my ends are in the same spot. So basically I would just come in here and, you know, on top of this, let me see, where were we? It's our chain space. There's our chain space. So just in this chain space, right after one of my joins there, we're gonna bring this guy in. Again, right side of my work. I got one of my own hairs on here. Remember I tried on my head, so there we go. Or around my head here, around my neck, I guess. Okay, so again, stitch 2 or 3, whatever it is that you like, and let's go in with our double crochets. That's a double crochet basically for that chain 1 space. So I'm going to go into the top of my double crochet and go ahead and do this. I was going to say, how come I didn't weave in my ends last time? Or this guy, it's because there was no end. Remember, we just finished making the granny and just went right for it. So now we had to attach our yarn on this side and we're going to go for it on top of each granny. Of course, double crochet in the chain 1 spaces. It's exactly the same. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So all double crochets all around, chain 3 up or chain 2 up, however you like, and do the front post, back post, front post, back post, and I will be back when I'm done with that. It's going to look exactly like this side, just on this opposite side. Sorry, I should have come back to finish it. Just, you know, the slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain. So there it is. And real quick again, this was the granny square, the all-in-one red heart. I said that all backwards. The red heart all-in-one granny square in black and carnation code, and then the other yarn that went really well, I mean, now that I'm looking at it, that's pretty good, is the, again, Big Twist Value Dark Coral, also from Joanne, I want to say, because I think they're the ones that have Big Twist, right? So yeah, so obviously we have some ends to weave in, because this wasn't just part of, you know, the all-in-one granny where I had just the beginning and the end one to weave in, so we do have to weave these guys in, and just weave them in however you like to do that. With these guys, again, I was just going to cut them because I had already tacked them down. I just didn't cut them away at the beginning. And that is it, guys. So the finished cowl, a little tucked in here, a little bit tucked in here. If you want to continue the ribbing or whatever you want to do, obviously there's, just continue doing it. Again, putting the same kind of post on top of the same kind of post. And this guy, I don't know if you can see, is probably maybe 13 inches wide, so about 26 inches. I mean, that doesn't really calculate the same, but it kind of does. 26 inches there, and then if I had squared this up, which I won't and never will, it's about 8 inches tall. So that makes sense because I think my blocks start off roughly at the 6 inches that we were doing. Then we add another like inch or so, and then plus another inch or so at the top and bottom, or however. So something like that. Nice little cowl. I love it. My daughter's like, "Ooh, what are you making?" She was really excited to see it. So I'm going to have some pictures here wearing it. Obviously, pictures just it being here. And thanks for watching, guys. Have fun. Let me know if you tried it out, what you're thinking, and I'll see you at the next one. Keep an eye out for this one. Again, it might have to be after the weekend that I get to actually making the video for this. But either way, the little flower is super cute. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye now.